All right, now let's flip over to another conversation that delves into the cryptocurrency industry and digital assets. Basically, we'll dive into a major development now in the African financial landscape. And it's what's playing out with mainstream financial institutions now integrating cryptocurrency trading, into their services, and that's happening in Africa now. This move marks a significant shift in how banks and financial institutions on the continent are approaching digital assets from providing more secure access to crypto markets to potentially redefining the investment options available to African consumers and businesses. This is a story that touches on innovation, regulation, and the future of finance in Africa. We'll explore the implications, opportunities, and risks now to help unpack this. Joining us on the show, we have Ayotunde Alabi, he's the CEO Luno Nigeria is joining me from our Abuja studio. Great to have you on the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ladi. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. So we're seeing a shift now when it comes to traditional finance, also, getting an alignment, with digital finance, at this point, with an African bank actually looking to, incorporate, digital asset providers. How significant is a move like this, for mainstream adoption and cryptocurrencies in Africa?
No, thank you very much, Ladi. I think it's a fantastic move. It's a step in the right direction. It shifts the conversation first from retail to now institution as it pertains to crypto. Now, banks are, starting from South Africa, what you're referencing is the partnership between Discovery Bank in South Africa and Luno in South Africa as well. So this is the first of its kind in Africa, and it's not only significant for South Africa, but for Africa as a whole. It's almost showing that it is possible for banks, the traditional financial institutions, to partner with crypto in a way that is safe and also regulated for their consumers. So the structure we have currently is a model called the B2B2C, which means the business to business to customers. So asset managers, financial institutions like banks, pension fund administrators are now, this is going to signify that there is an opportunity here to be able to offer the next wave of innovation as it comes to, as it pertains to, financial instruments to consumers as well. So it's a fantastic development for not only South Africa, but also the African continent. It shows that we are ready and that Africa as a whole is ready for the next wave of innovation, from an investment perspective.
All right. Now, talking about investment, what does this mean for, retail investors, and businesses in terms of, access and liquidity?
No one has as much liquidity as the banks across the different financial institutions or across different, financial landscape, as it were. So it means deeper liquidity. It means there's not going to be, the rails that were not available to pension fund administrators to retail investors is now being opened. So the way that the partnership has worked in South Africa is such that investors or consumers can now buy crypto assets directly from a banking application. So this just means that the partnership is going to allow more players to come into the fold. Partners or players that were consumers that were a bit skeptical about cryptocurrencies before, the fact that the banks are now, or a bank in South Africa, one of the major banks in South Africa, has now partnered with Luno, for example, what it means is that consumers are now, it signals to consumers that the institution that they're familiar with is now confident to allow this asset class to them as a whole, which means that obviously the banks would have conducted their checks from a KYC perspective to a regulatory perspective to also a custody perspective and just generally safety perspective as well. So this signals to any consumer or any person looking from the sidelines to come into the fold and allows for more players to come in and invest or participate in the market.
Right, and definitely we know banks are heavily regulated from most of their central banks at this point. So how are they going to also address regulatory challenges associated with crypto trading?
Oh, you see, and that's the beautiful part about what we have in South Africa. there is already a licensing regime that allows, that prescribes, what the guidelines and rules would be. It's not ambiguous in South Africa. It's such that there are set guidelines that have been put in place that the licensed cryptocurrency exchanges must abide by. And the moment you're certified, and obviously there's continuous review, I think annual review of these exchanges to ensure that they are always aligned with those rules. The moment you're certified, as aligned with the rules and regulations of, what allows you the license, then banks feel confident to be able to, partner with you, and that's what we've seen with Luno in this instance. So the banks, there's already a guideline that is already set for crypto exchanges or crypto platforms. The banks trust that these guidelines are being met, and that is why they are confident now to partner with, the likes of, Luno, for example. Now, if you bring that to Nigeria as well, it's something that is going to happen eventually, where there's going to be a guidelines, a set rules and regulations. Once that happens, what we'll now begin to see is we're going to see institutional type partnership, like the banks, for example, asset managers, pension funds, even stock brokerage firms will now be confident because there is a guideline that has been set or that has been set and has been followed assiduously by these exchanges to ensure that partnerships are done in a safe, secure, and transparent manner, which will give investors the confidence that they require to be able to participate in this market.
Right, and definitely we know when it comes to digital assets, we have some of those hacking issues, where blockchain gets hacked and they steal people's funds. Who's going to be protecting digital assets, belonging to clients? Will it be the banks or the crypto platform?
So you see, the crypto platform is already equipped with the necessary technology to ensure custody of, or secure custody of this of digital assets. Is what we've done, over the years as well. I can speak for Luno, and so it's something that would continue. Now, the banks don't necessarily have to build an infrastructure to cater to that segment of the business from a security perspective. Because again, if you look, for example, the banks don't build the core banking application from the scratch. They allow for people that have already developed those core banking applications to partner with them, and then they ride on those existing platforms. Obviously, when the checks, they would have passed through the necessary checks, definitely. So it's the same thing with the crypto assets. Today, crypto exchanges already have where or how they custody assets, they safeguard assets. And we can go into, or I don't want to go into, the details, but obviously there's the cold wallet and there's the hot wallet and all that, which all have different categories and layers of, authentication and, security that has been attached or ascribed to those kinds of, digital custody, basically. So it's all there, and the responsibility definitely will still lie on the crypto exchanges and the infrastructure that is already in place for those custodies to be set. So the oversight responsibility definitely would now be with the regulators and the stakeholders within that sphere that ensures that the assets are securely the digital assets are secure, just as the cryptocurrency exchanges have claimed that they are.
All right, yeah, I guess so much to unpack down. We'll see if other banks in Africa actually follow and allow most of their customers to actually buy cryptocurrencies directly from their banks. Thank you so much. Ayotunde Alabi is the CEO, Luno, Nigeria. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Ladi.